Guys, it must be difficult for Tory MPs. You almost want to feel sorry for them. Almost. When Boris Johnson or Liz Truss were in charge, I can imagine every day a senior Tory dreaded what they would have to defend on the likes of LBC, Good Morning Britain, or Politics Live. But while Rishi Sunak has kept his nose a lot cleaner than his two previous headbangers, it's his Home Secretary Suella Braverman who seems determined to become more and more hateful to more and more people. Her latest plan is to demonise arguably the most vulnerable in society, the homeless, just as the weather is getting considerably colder. Here Tory MP Bob Seeley attempted to defend his colleague and friend. Have a listen.
Should the Home Secretary be using that sort of language when discussing this issue?
Joe, if it's true, and if the Home Secretary thinks it should be true, let me just finish the point, please, then she should be saying it. There are things which the political classes find unpalatable, which may be true, and I think it is a brave and decent Home Secretary who tries to tell the truth to people, even if some of the things that she says sound unpalatable.
Right, but the problem is a lot of people don't think it's actually true. What she said on Twitter is the British people are compassionate. We'll always support those who are genuinely homeless, but we cannot allow our streets to be taken over by rows of tents occupied by people, many of them from abroad, living on the streets as a lifestyle choice.
OK. I think if she believes there is evidence for that, she's right to say it. But let me just add one other point.
Briefly, because I must get to the others.
We also have a real issue with organised, systemic criminal begging, not only in London, but other areas. This is low-level organised crime.
Well,
and these are the things that make people, especially women, young people, at night, feel unsafe. And she's right to try to tackle these issues.
Is it
issues that you have created? You are responsible for these problems. You have cut public services. You have cut support for mental health. You have cut support via the NHS. You've offloaded responsibility onto charities. And now Suella Braverman wants to punish the charities who are doing that heavy lifting by providing tents, for example, to homeless people. Like, you're saying, at least we have a Home Secretary who's willing to challenge these issues, who's going to take them on. Issues that you have created. Homelessness was declining under the last Labour government. Now it's increasing once again. You have created this problem. You can't turn around and say, well, isn't it terrible that there aren't enough police officers on the beat to protect people, or we aren't moving these people on, or whatever, or why are there so many homeless people all of a sudden? My goodness.
Is it right in the first instance, Jenny Chapman, in your mind, that there are some people living in tents on the streets and they're doing so as a lifestyle choice? And should that be language used by the Home Secretary?
It should not be language used by the Home Secretary. I don't think for a minute that Suella Braverman is saying this because she believes it to be true. She is saying this because she wants to get some attention and to position herself for a leadership contest within the Conservative Party that she anticipates will happen next year. That is what this is about. There is a problem with homelessness. It's gone up 75% since the Tories took over in 2010. Under the Labour Party, prior to that, we'd reduced homelessness by 75%. And we did that by working together with organisations who seek to support people and to work on prevention of homelessness. That's where the government's focus needs to be. These kinds of statements from the Home Secretary are done to get attention, to create a storm on Twitter and to get her in the headlines. Well done, she's achieved that. But what about tackling homelessness?
Do you think there are any people?
Well said, well said. I think there are two things happening here. First of all, you have the Conservative administration looking for scapegoats, looking for someone to be the target of their attention, of their ire. So what they want is the public not to look at a crumbling NHS, crumbling infrastructure, problems with education, a cost of living crisis. They want people to be angry, not with the government, but with homeless people. You know, they want people to be angry, the public to be angry with immigrants. They want the public to be angry with the civil service. They want the public to be angry with the EU. Now it seems to be homeless people. As I said, arguably the most vulnerable people in society, people who can't, go home and avoid the public. There's no sense of security. They have no place that they can go to feel safe. They're on the street, literally on the street. But I think the other point of this is, of course, Suella Braverman. She wants to be the next leader of the Conservative Party. She's positioning herself for that position, for that role. And she knows that Rishi Sunak is going to lose the next general election. She knows that he'll be out in his ear, and the party will have to make a decision. Do we move to the centre, or do we move to the far right? Do the headbangers take over, or do the moderates take over? And I think what they're going to do is try to paint Rishi Sunak as a moderate, as a socialist. Some of them have been trying to paint him as. And the party is going to move further to the right. They have adopted the UKIP policies. Now they're going to move further and further to the right. They're going to follow perhaps Reform UK. And who better to lead it than Suella Braverman? Will she be eventually Prime Minister? Hopefully not. I don't think so. But she will lead in opposition. And I think her and the right-wing media will do whatever they can to try and bring down the future Labour government. But this policy of punishing the poor, punishing the homeless, is just, once again, red meat to the base. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.